Adam Goldman, let me start with you. I read as much from that incredible piece of reporting from you and your colleagues as I could get out, but take me through more of it and put some of it in context for us.
Well, the context is there's this critical election briefing that was provided to Congress as mandated, and the election czar, Shelby Pearson, provided information about Russian intentions, and then she was asked the inevitable question about Putin and does he want to see Trump reelected? And, in this hearing, she said that's Putin's preference. That, in fact, Putin favors Trump being reelected. And that set the Republicans off. I mean, they went ballistic. And they were pushing back extremely hard, asking, why they had come to that analytic conclusion. What's the evidence of that? And it's my understanding that, they basically berated these intel community people who appeared in front of them. And, fast forward to the next day, that briefing was on February 13th. And on Valentine's Day, Trump, is angry with Joe Maguire, right, the acting head of DNI, about this briefing, and Schiff, who's on the Intelligence Committee, getting this information because he fears it's going to be weaponized. I don't believe our piece said definitively that the two were connected. That's why Maguire was fired. But clearly he was upset with Maguire.
Jeremy Bash, isn't the evidence that Russia prefers Donald Trump, that Russian President Vladimir Putin, standing next to Donald Trump, said, "I prefer Donald Trump"?
Yeah, and that was their preference in 2016. As for whether or not their operations now are designed specifically to favor Donald Trump or merely to conduct a cyber attack merely of our democratic election, I think is a little bit besides the point. We have a nation-state adversary of the United States of America, the Russian Federation, conducting a cyber attack against our country. And the president is outraged not by that ongoing attack. He's outraged that our intelligence community professionals are telling the truth about it, that they're warning people about it, that they're warning Congress so that we can do something about it. And I think the lesson here is that he's not only unconcerned with the cyber attack, I think he actually welcomes it. I think in some ways he knows deep down that it would inure to his benefit, and that, therefore, he needs to squash any effort by his own government to prevent it.
Jeremy, I played that sound of Congressman Himes saying that outgoing acting DNI Maguire needs to speak out. Couldn't the committee run by Democrats subpoena him today?
They could ask for testimony by Maguire, by others who know about this analysis. And more fundamentally, I think ultimately this intelligence will have to be declassified and published in the same way that the January 2017 intelligence community assessment about Russian attempts to hack the 2016 election was ultimately published shortly after Trump was inaugurated. We need to see this intelligence declassified, if for no other reason so the apparatus of our government and all the election officials in all 50 states can protect the election in November.
Ambassador McFaul, the intel, as it was briefed to the bipartisan committee, is alarming. The president's reaction to it, delivered via tweet and in some public comments. We're not going to play them, but I'll summarize them for our viewers. This is Trump a few moments ago. He said, "I was told a week ago that they said they're trying to start a rumor. It is disinformation. Do nothing Democrats. Putin wants to make sure I get elected. Doesn't he want to see the Democrats?" What is the impact? I mean, Fiona Hill testified under oath that she wouldn't be a part of Russian disinformation efforts. It seems that the order to traffic in Russian disinformation is coming in the executive branch of government from the president himself.
You're right. Deeply disturbing. And the overall idea that we are going to politicize intelligence is really scary to me. And that goes well beyond the Russia threat. If everything is through a polarized partisan lens that the president believes, then he's not going to have accurate information about pandemics or nuclear weapons or the China threat, the Iranian threat. So that's the first thing that disturbs me. The second thing that disturbs me, though, is that we know all about this. That means the system is leaking. The reporters are supposed to report. But why Why are we getting this intelligence the way we are? And third, it's a little convoluted now. We've heard some reporting about the intentions that Vladimir Putin, it is an intelligence assessment that Putin seeks Trump's victory again. To me, that's no great insight, as Jeremy was just saying. Very clear. There's other people that study Vladimir Putin and the Russians, including me. That's a pretty clear statement. What's more important to me and more mysterious is, are they doing concrete things to help get the president reelected? And that's what's unclear to me. And I agree with Jeremy. Let's just start declassifying this stuff. By the way, not January 2017, but let's declassify it before the election so the American people know what's going on. That's what the Obama administration was criticized for not doing back in 2016. Maybe we should just open up and have the ODNI have public hearings every week until the election in November.
Well, doesn't that become less likely, Joyce Vance, with Donald Trump's pick to be acting DNI being a known Trump loyalist? Mr. Rick Grinnell is on his way into that post. It seems that what Jeremy and the ambassador are calling for is less likely today than it was 48 hours ago.
Trump seems determined to surround himself, Nicole, with people who will only tell him what he wants to hear. There will be no more speaking truth to power in the executive branch. And for all of the reasons Ambassador McFaul discussed, that's deeply, deeply dangerous. I agree perhaps it's less likely that we'll hear it directly from ODNI, but to underline what Jeremy was saying about the importance of declassifying information about threats to American elections, and let's be clear about what that is. That's an effort to suppress your vote and my vote. Russia's goal is to divide our country, to drive a wedge, to create chaos. Election chaos is certainly one of their modalities of choice. And so for elections across our country to be secure and successful, since the president doesn't seem interested in securing them, more interested in blaming Democrats than in fighting back against Russia, we need this information. Our elections aren't run out of Washington. Elections are run maybe by your Secretary of State, but more likely at the county level or your county equivalent. These are probate judges and county registrars. They run systems sometimes that are outdated because of inadequate resources. It's critical that they have this information. It has to be declassified, pushed out to election authorities and to the American people.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.